Yeah, Daniel, welcome back, man. Welcome back to another podcast again. I really remember how long ago it was, but back again, people. Back again. Ready to jump in again and talk about loads of football. Daniel,
Yeah,
man. Finally back on here again doing some live coverage.
people, back again and see if we can keep the ball rolling. I know people been asking about the Nick and the Dan podcast, but glad to be here. Both of us have a lot of stuff to take care of, family, work. You get what I'm saying? I know,
It just take hectic, man.
yeah, you see me I say? So, but main thing is that we are here again and we want to keep the show going. You get me? Especially a lot of stuff coming to the ending of club football. You get what I'm saying? And then international Jamaica will to come right back up again. So, never late to start, always start back. You get me?
Yeah. But you don't know people, thanks for tuning back again, man. Happy Sunday to everybody, best of to everybody, Sunday. It's a Nick and that podcast, here again. Been goes for the last couple of months, you understand? I've been doing my thing, Dan be doing his thing, but the live coverage was just, it was just paused for a moment, the live stream takes time, it takes quite a bit to get it, going. But we're there again, and we're going to roll, the ball and the pitch as Dan said, 90 minutes of show. Can we go 90 minutes today as if it's a full game of football? You understand? But we're going to talk about European football. We're going to talk about the EPL, the Daniel. We're going to discuss some Reggae Boys players in the player alone segment. And also, the Reggae Boys, Reggae Girls segment, it's coming up in the middle of the show. And, we will end off things with extra time, talking about just random stuff all over what happened in the world. But, Dan, as I said, man, thanks for being here again. Thanks for taking the time out, for us to do this again. Hopefully we can continue. Hopefully, our life continue to be free so we can do this every Sunday as it once was a weekly show. But again, over to you, Dan. What you want to say again to the people.
Yeah, quickly, we're gonna do a quick the Prem, right? Gonna go into the Premier League over the weekend, the fixtures, it's coming to the end of the season. You don't know the champion, Liverpool, let me see. Give me a second, people.
Yeah.
Should I have
Liverpool, but before, you're searching, I just want to, we just want to start it. We really want to waste any more time.
Basically the top two, Liverpool title race against West Ham at home. They're able to edge that one with a 2-1 win. What do you think about that match today against Liverpool? That they basically becoming champion very much.
We're going to get there. But I want to talk about this for the next 5 to 10 minutes. Talk about what happened in the Scudetto race. What happened with the Pichichi, over there in the La Liga. The Golden Boot race is happening up over there, the title race, and and discussing the Dia Classica, played over the weekend as well. Dortmund versus Bayern. But Daniel, get into it. Is this one of the most emphatic, title race you have ever seen in the La Liga? Where Atletico Madrid, Barcelona is right up there, Real Madrid is right up there. But I don't think many of those teams, managed to put in, I would say probably, the Barcelona and the Real Madrid is very consistent. When it comes down to, a title challenge, a 4-point gap in the La Liga race is a very big margin. But they are not managed to put in at least between, I would say, 80 to 90% consistent. They are not doing their performances consistent. We saw, over the weekend, the Barcelona game, versus Leganes, the game that ended, 1-0 earlier today. The Real Madrid game beat Deportivo Alaves, they managed to scrape by, so both teams won, 1-0, but the performance have been still. But we're going to start off with, with Barcelona, winning that one on Saturday versus Leganes. Their coach, the German, Hansi Flick, did something in the game that I think the question, your knowledge.
Yeah.
Started, Garcia in the midfield in that 6, and they were getting a lot of run over. The team was playing a little bit more, aggressive. Until he brought in, Frankie De Jong in that second half, they managed to, get in tackle the game and start to run back, Leganes, and start to play the normal football. The midfield start to play a little bit more quicker through the lines. What you think about, Flick playing Garcia over De Jong in that stadium away in a game in Madrid?
I think it's much more about rotation, especially after they play during the week in a very easy Champions League game. But I think it's very much about rotation. I was watching that game. I could have seen that the Barca team was very much leggy. You get what I'm saying? They were very slow. Normally, Barca would just I think when they're going at you with very pace. Balde, the wing back, he wasn't playing as well. So I think he was very much watching the players' minutes. I surprised Lamal, Rafinha go so far in that game. You get what I'm saying? Because they want to have these players fit, especially when the big games comes up. You get what I'm saying? But I think it's very much having Martinez in that middle. It's very much don't want to put too much stress on his best players. You get what I'm saying? So I wasn't watching too, but they get the win done. End of the day, at this time of the season, is that about if it's a own goal, a penalty, a 1-0, is about getting the job done. To able to, because we see that if they did drop that points yesterday, but Real Madrid would have closed the gap on them after the win today.
Yeah. 4 points lead. Barcelona, but move on from that La Liga game. I want to preview the game coming up, midweek, versus Dortmund. And I'll wait to the Ignace Donde Park. Lewandowski, will face his old team again in Germany. He has scored 28 goals versus Dortmund since he left in 2024. Move on, played for, the arch rival, Bayern Munich. He scored 26 times and Dortmund, with Bayern Munich, a couple times already, with Barcelona. How you see that one pan out, 4-0, is it the worst Dortmund team? And can they overturn Barcelona will just go as Barcelona did, at the Olympic Stadium in Spain?
Yeah, I think that tie is over. Watching that Barcelona first leg, Dortmund start the game very good. Gresassi did get couple chances that he should have put away. Maybe would have give them some hope, but I could see Barca just go there, control the game, and just hit them on the break. And Dortmund over the years, we know that Dortmund over the years, they're one of the worst defensive. For some reason, no matter who comes in and play for Dortmund team, they don't have a terrible defense. You get what I'm saying? They brought in they did brought back that both to retire at the end of the season. Hummels, when Hummels was there, and then he left and went to Roma. They brought in Saul from Bayern. Slotterback, one of their best defenders, not available as well. So I don't know. I think Dortmund defensively, you can see that in the German league as well. They're struggling, even though they got a very good results over the weekend against Bayern. But Bayern themselves is all over the place as well. So I could see Barca just go there and just wipe the floor and put 3 past them again.
Yeah. Niko Kovac, the team is on 42 points, just 6 points away from the Champions League spot. They have the remaining games in the Bundesliga. Just a couple games left. They have Borussia Mönchengladbach, Hoffenheim, Wolfsburg, Leverkusen, and Holstein Kiel. You see them plugging that gap in 6 points because the coefficient spots is already gone to England, where they're going to have the 5th spot get into the Champions League. So it just will be the top 4 in the Bundesliga. You will see Niko Kovac get that team anywhere in the Champions League position.
Very inconsistent Dortmund team. They have Gladbach, they have Hoffenheim, they have Wolfsburg, they have Leverkusen away. You do not know what you're gonna get with this team. But seeing that performance against Bayern in the last game, I think they have a little bit of hope. You get what I'm saying? Because I think going into that game, I thought Bayern was gonna blow them away. Just seeing them play against Barca. So seeing that they have still some quality there. I like that they brought in Chukwuemeka, the loanee from Chelsea. It kind of give them a little difference, in the middle and thing. But I don't know about getting in the Champions League right now. I think they have too much.
They get into Europe in the Europa League or the conference.
Maybe the Europa League or the Conference League, but that would be a very much disappointing season. But I think they're not too far away. They were 6 points off Leipzig, but they're gonna need a lot of help to reach them. But I think maybe in the Conference League would be a best shot for Dortmund.
Quick 10 seconds. Is Rafinha a Ballon d'Or player this season? 40 plus games. 20. Let me see, 28 goals. 20 assists. That's 40 in 46 games. Is he a Ballon d'Or contender this season coming up at the end of the year?
Honestly, I may be because me have this bias against Barcelona. I'm not the biggest Barcelona fan, but by going off of stats, I think he is but maybe Rafinha is just not the football where you put the Neymar, the Hazard, the Messi, the Ronaldo. He just don't have that.
But
Even Venus have that superstar
someone
feature.
that's growing into that stature because he had 21 goals involvement last season,
Mhm.
10 goals, 11 assists. Now you could see that 28 goals, 20 assists. He's doubling up what he have done last season, Stanley. So he's no doubt is a show there, especially if Barcelona go on to win the Champions League and the La Liga this term coming up. Also, but moving on. Quick touch, Inter Milan is 6 points ahead. Napoli will play Empoli tomorrow, in the Monday night game. The UEFA Champions League. Look, the last time Inter lost a game in the Champions League at home, it was back in 2022, the season when they went to the final, and that was the Bayern Munich beat them in the San Siro. You see Bayern Munich, pegging back, Inter Milan in the San Siro in Italy coming up midweek, 2-1 deficit. Can they overturn that?
No, I don't think they can able to. I watched both Inter game over the weekend against Calgary, and I watched Bayern Munich game against Dortmund.
You saw that goal that Laturo scored on Calgary.
Yeah,
Out of it is just spectacular.
and they didn't have to use Turam,
Wow.
that partnership they have with Martinez. I think Inter defense is too good. Too good. I could see Bayern go there, knocking the ball around with Kimmich and with Kim. Kim is just awful in the defense, and I just can see Bayern just making mistake and Inter just hit them on the break. Inter defense is just too good. Harry Kane over the past couple of games, I've been seeing missing a lot of sitters. I don't
Yeah.
know what's going on.
Yeah.
They're missing their best player, Musiala.
Injury in that game before they
Yeah.
played. Perfect.
Yeah, I would love as a German fan, and Bayern is one of the team that I like support. I would love to say they go there and get it back, but I think Inter is too good defensively.
I want to ask you a quick fire question again, 10 seconds. I want us to answer it quick and possible. Bishek, the German defender at Inter Milan, Baston, is the two youngest, our best two youngest defender in the world at the moment. Yes or no?
No, I think Saliba from Arsenal is still the best young defender right now.
So, where you rank between Saliba and Bastoni?
Bastoni, I think Bastoni is second behind Saliba. I think Saliba is I think, if I be honest though, Bastoni been a Champions League final. He won a Scudetto. I just threw. I'm maybe going off a more like a biased Premier League aspect because we see him. Because we think that the Premier League is the best league, and if you're playing the Premier League and you're doing the best thing, you're one of the best. But I'm gonna go with Bastoni. I'm gonna go with Bastoni just because he been proven. He have been in a Champions League final, one of the best defensive one of the best defensive record in Europe, and he already won a couple Scudetto already. So I'm gonna give it to Bastoni.
I think that defender that playing a lot of back three, Bishek, I think he's an upgrade to Rudiger when Rudiger is ready to step away from German. I think he's very good. I think he scored a bullet header on Calgary.
I didn't know he was a German until the last international break.
He's a German. But Inter Milan, since they went to the final in 2022-23 season, they played 68 games after the final and they only lost 5 games. So Bayern Munich have something, a very difficult game coming up in the San Siro. But Arturo Martinez, since the final 23, the year of 23, in 143 games played, 75 goals scored. Did Laturo got robbed from that last Ballon d'Or, leading goal scorer in the Copa, leading goal scorer, in the Scudetto race, you won it and you won the Cup as well. Did he got robbed of winning international tournament also, at the club level as well, win the Scudetto race?
Yeah, I think it's, if there's any other big brand player, I think he would have won it. I think it's people people kind of downgrade the Italian league. I watch a lot of Italian league. I like the Italian league. You get what I'm saying? When they talk about very much tactical football, I think people kind of downgrade the Italian league. If he was in the Premier League, the Spanish league, he would have got beat. You'd see a lot of people are short for him to win the Ballon d'Or. So you get what I'm saying? So I think that it's fortunate for him to be playing in a league where not too much, not like back then when AC Milan and Inter was winning this.
I don't want you to say pressure because it's very pressure to play.
No, I'm not saying it's not pressure. What I'm saying is merely because Italian team have not won the Champions League since Inter, and that was at 2010.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So that's probably one of the reasons why people not really. And there's so many times that there's a player that do so good in Italy and come to the Premier League and not really did good. We can go by so many names. Lukaku was in the Premier League, did okay, went to Italy. You get what I'm saying? So yeah.
Before a ball was kicked last weekend, AS Roma. Actually, I've got the most points in Europe top 5 league. Before they played Juve last week. In the Stadio Olimpico, they got 32 points. Before ball was kicked last weekend. Claudio Ranieri, is going to step aside at the end of the season. They drew to the arch rival, Lazio in that capital derby. Your words on how this man is progressing AS Roma up, because when De Rossi was there, the team actually just won 3 games in their first 12 games of the season, and then he took over in November, and then from there Roma just started to fire the team. This is his second stint as AS Roma. He's a Rome. He's from the holy city, as they say in Italy. But your assessment on Claudio Ranieri, for AS Roma.
Legend. You have to give him his flaws. A champion of Premier League. I don't think you ever see a team out of the top 6 or the traditional top 6 in the Premier League ever win the Premier League ever again. Not in a million years. Maybe when we become grandpa, we maybe see something like that again. But great top coach. I watched a couple of Roma game. I like Paredes in the midfield, Argentine World Cup champion. He just know how to run the middle, and sometimes the coach, top coach, he doing a good job. At one time I could not believe that they won so many games. But I don't know what's wrong with it. I don't know if it's the players with this Roma team, because every time when a new coach come in, they go on a very consistent run, and then after that they hit a block. They hit a block and then they start going on. But give him his flaws. He came in, do what I have to do, make Roma pretty much competing again. You get what I'm saying? They're very much 7th. They still can get Champions League. You get what I'm saying? That's crazy to think that Roma, and can still get Champions League. I was watching that game against Juventus. They were really good, holding their own. Even though Juventus was struggle. The game against Lazio as well. Really good game. Going against Lazio. Ain't that's a city rival? Lazio and Roma. Yeah. I forgot to.
I think one of them soon to move out of the Stadio Olympic.
I think that's probably going to be Lazio, because I feel like it's Roma, San Siro, Stadio Olimpico. I feel like that's more like a for them thing. You get what I'm saying? But I don't think people understand even the Milan derby. Let's say Roma. The Rome derby is one. That's some crazy derby too.
I think the Rome derby is right up there with the with the Milan derby. But this season though, Claudio Ranieri 19 match, 12 win, draw 4, last 3, he's points per game 2.11, so he's right up there. And Stefan Pioli, you could see a lot of news flashing around that he's the one that might take over with the Rome team, coming up in the new season August as well. But
before you move on to I think with Roma, Ranieri is over his career, I think he have the best points per winning ratio, meaning that he have like 50%.
Over his career, it's 40. His winning percentage is 45%,
Yeah.
and he has managed over, I think, 700 games in his career so far. But what he have done 2016, 2000, is it 2016, 17? The Cinderella story, or
Yeah.
15, 16?
I think a 15, 16.
What he have done, man, for Leicester City will never remove from history. A yes or no question. Thiago Motta, a flop, yes or no?
Yes. I think Thiago Motta should have done what Xavi Alonso did. Take another year and keep learning. You get what I'm saying? I see so many coaches that have a breakthrough season and jump ship very fast. Who am I to say that if Chelsea come to me, me the championship and Chelsea come to me, I mean and Chelsea never give me a job. Who me to say you're gonna turn that down? But you never know,
PSG league title last weekend. This is their 13th league title. This is their 11th, since they took over in 2011. 11 league titles out of the last 13, and the best team in Europe at this moment. Yes, I know.
Yes. PSG is the best team in league. We know we beat the McDonald's league, but I am telling you people, I have been watching a lot of French league. I don't know why, but I've been watching a lot of French league. You get what I'm saying? I am telling you, PSG might win their first Champions League this season. Yeah. Sorry to the Barca fans them out there and the Arsenal fans them out there, but I think PSG might win it this season.
The level of where they're performing now is I think they set the schedule to win the Champions League in the next 2 seasons after Champions League. It's not no, but there's a lot of changes, is happening, with Paris Saint-Germain, with the team in Paris. But I just have to say, I think this is the best team. Probably the only team can come close to it. It's the Barcelona team, and it's teams that full of youngsters. You could see, the player do it. Actually, took over from Barcola in that front three. It's Kvaratskhelia and Dembele and Dewey right now is probably the best front three in the world, more than Rodrigo, Mbappe and Vini. So it's not just all about goals. They're working together. The midfield with João Neves, Vitinha. Those two Portuguese are so excellent. They're such a small players, but the work ethic. And if you look at, the distance that they covered in every Champions League game they played since they got into the knockout round, is remarkable. You understand? Such small players, but people, that's it. With some of the stuff that's happening around Europe, in Spain, Italy, and Barcelona. You have any prediction that you want to make? I think Inter will go on to win Scudetto, but I would love Napoli to go on to win it. Understand? But I think Napoli have an easier running, but Inter have some tough games are coming up.
No, I think Inter will push through. I think they have the experience. They know, they have the know-how. They won it before. You get what I'm saying? And I think tough fishers are not tough fishers. They have the best defense for a reason in the league in Europe. So I think Inter will push through. You get what I'm saying? And I want to make a prediction this for the Champions League as well. Arsenal fans, now go on. Don't Real Madrid a comeback. Yeah, man. That is
it. I see. Whoa, if Real Madrid go on to lose that game, I would probably say Arsenal Barcelona final. A rematch of what happened in 2005.
You don't think PSG gonna make it? I think PSG. I think for my dream final will be PSG Barcelona.
At this moment, Daniel, Arsenal is a better team playing together than Real Madrid.
I know that, but what I'm saying is I don't under the bracket. I just don't see Arsenal beating PSG.
Barcelona going to have a lot of problem if Inter go through.
I think Barca will struggle to
They
beat
go
Inter,
if they
but
go to Inter Milan, it's going to be a very slim margin.
yeah, that's the margin. But I think that PSG, I don't think Arsenal have enough. They have one of the best defense, but I don't think they have enough striking power.
I just see it as a team.
No, I'm not saying they're that good as a team, but what I'm saying is I have watched PSG, what they did to Aston Villa.
Yes.
In that game,
Yes.
24/7, Aston Villa was in their own box.
I think the game ended almost 80% of.
You get what I'm saying? I have never seen that in a million years. Every time I look on the TV, Aston Villa cock up in the box. So that was crazy.
But moving on. The people, thanks, for everybody checking in. Penny Matic, that Penny. I said, look, Penny, Dan supposed to send me the mic, and I know when I retrieve the mic, I know, the mic sent out with. Are we saying to it? FedEx or UPS?
FedEx. I get that back of mine, man. Don't worry yourself, man.
Yeah, and so next weekend I will be getting one of those mic. You understand? So audio will be coming through very clear.
When I say that echo,
sound a little bit hollow,
but is it the mic I go?
Yeah, I think it's I've done its time now. I think with the new upgrade that I've done with the camera and stuff like that, I think I need to upgrade the mic and stuff like that. So I just like, yeah. But people, we're gonna talk about we in 33 minutes of the show, so we're going to go into talk about a little bit of the EPL, the Daniel EPL card, and after this we will jump right into it.
Ride the beat when you rock the mic. Put your foot on the gas and eat a red light. Ride the beat when you.
Here comes Salah. Liverpool's tails are up. Salah! It's quite simply stunning from Liverpool. Bukayo Saka! Over and over and over again. Still going to Bruyne. On towards Haaland. 3-0.
So Daniel EPL corner, look, going to start off. Forest went down 1-0 at the City Ground. Did you surprise of David Moyes went to City Ground and got Nunes points at the end? Dokor talking about this contract that's going to end at the end of the summer. What do you think, man? Goodison Park is coming alive again with David Moyes.
Not surprised that Palace Forest start to fall off. I think it's too good to be true. They were they're moving so good throughout the season. I just know that there's gonna be a time after season where they're gonna start falling off. You get what I'm saying? Everton, one of the worst team you could have come up against. David Moyes and him low block. But let's be honest. There's low block against low block because Forest play the same type of football. You get what I'm saying? So I think that David Moyes was kind of surprised that Everton went back there, knowing that I was thinking that they want to move on from those type of football, especially getting Sean Dyche after. So you would think that they want to, but bring back, you could have said, is David Moyes their legend? You could have said he's Everton legend.
I think he deserves a statue.
Yeah, I think he does, but I think doing good. They're going into their new stadium soon, so fresh light to Everton. And Forest, I think Forest gonna start falling off. I think they remind me of that Leicester City team that year that they almost got the Champions League and they start to fall off in the last month. I think that might be that the football and the timing might catch up on Forest.
Their next game will be at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, home to Brentford, away to Crystal Palace at Sellers Park, home to Leicester City, away at London Stadium to West Ham, and then round off with Chelsea. That last game at City Ground, I think that game will be a very, very.
That's gonna be a very good game right there.
I think I have Forest to qualify for the Champions League.
You think they're gonna push through?
I think they're going to push through. Did anyone say this? Did I ever made a mistake and said Villa is the best team in England? Did you say that or I said that?
Aston Villa is not the best team in England, Bossy. They beat the best team in England. Did you watch that Liverpool game that they play in the Champions League and they bust that game, the whole game at Stade de France, and Liverpool could have not got a kick off the ball?
So you was talking about Liverpool, not Aston Villa.
No. He's saying they only beat Aston Villa. So basically, I must say your PSG is not that good because they beat Aston Villa. You get the drift?
Yeah.
So I must say, them just beat Aston Villa, which is not the best team from England. So me I try to say them already beat Liverpool and not Liverpool. Oh, you understand? You understand?
Hearing something in the background?
No.
All right, cool, good. Yeah, so yeah, I get it. I was just a little bit what was happening in the background.
Yeah, I must say, them Aston Villa them just beat. No, they beat they boss Liverpool. Liverpool get a lucky goal in the last minute.
Yeah. But this is a weird one though. When Doucouré scored for Everton, they had to lose 20 games, 4 wins and 6 draw. I know he's not the most gifted player in England or on the Merseyside in that Everton side, but he's a hard working player. And I think you just can't just build a team with superstars. You're going to need players that are going to be working for
really hard.
Really work hard for the team. And in that Everton team, he has covered the most miles to anyone in that team. I think he scored, I think he's right up there, or not, he's the leading goal scorer for that team alongside Beto and Calvert-Lewin. But you think David Moyes should go ahead and give him at least a couple of contract at the end of the season?
Yeah, of course. I think he has been one of their most consistent players. Every time I see Everton having a really good game, he's having a really good game. You get what I'm saying? I think I remember when he was at Watford, comes, he's very honestly, I think I would have taken him in my team. He's one of those very honest player. Give his all on the time. So I think he deserves a new contract.
Yeah. Manchester City were feeling down at home versus Crystal Palace, the Eagles. They won that game 5. Did you saw that performance? Coming.
No, I did not. You good?
Yeah, I'm good. Continue, proceed.
No, I was gonna say I did not see that coming, and I think Crystal Palace dropped the ball. They went up 2-0. They was leading. They almost went up 3-0, and then that goal on Eze.
Eze for that lack of concentration of getting ahead of the City back when he was the last man to see the full line in front of him.
Yeah, I think that was very disappointing for me, especially the first goal, the first one that he scored. It was almost like the same. So he would have just stay onside. You get what I'm saying? But Kamada made that silly tackle on the edge of the box, and from that, City just they did not turn back.
I don't know, man, but Kevin De Bruyne, just weird. He came up big in this game. I don't know. It was his first game after he announced that he's going to leave, Manchester City at the end of the season. And that free kick, I think he struck one at the post, but I don't know how that one didn't win in. But Kevin De Bruyne had one of his best games of the season. Unfortunately, he came against in our team. Yeah, our team is performing really well. Oliver Glasner, that's true, and he's getting that team get up and already again. But Kevin De Bruyne, who you see, I see, the likes of, Gibbs White, the likes of Ritz, stories coming out that Manchester City are monitoring those players. And Farry said, hey, Gibbs White is 100+ million. Do you see any number out there that can really, they can go to get? But I think Ritz is that one that they really want. But I think he will probably stay for one more season at Leverkusen. I think there's a promise and a loyalty in his contract.
Yeah, I think they were looking at Julian Ritz. I do not want City to get him. I hope he went. I hope he either. I don't think Chelsea gonna buy him, but I'd rather him went to Real Madrid or one of those teams. But I think he will be up there on one of the most important
on their wish list.
Yeah, wish list. They was looking at Musiala. I just don't see that happen. He just signed a contract with Bayern. Bayern gonna want a hand and a leg for him. So yeah, I just but City City over the years, they always have this thing where they just go out and find the player. Or maybe, let's be honest, maybe what's his name?
The player that they bought from Ravel.
No, that kid that score for them on over the weekend. The last goal. What's his name? He score because maybe City could bring him in and he will be
McAtee, right? McAtee.
Yeah, I think City could maybe go that route. You get what I'm saying? Start to use their academy players because even they have a lot of, if you look in that team over the weekend, there was probably like at least 4 players that was in the team from the academy.
I think Rogers at Aston Villa would be a perfect fit. He's strong, he's athletic, he can work, he can dribble the ball, he's back to goal, he can collect the ball, then he can drive the field up front. I think going back to City as once was an academy player, I think that would be a deal that they probably would be looking at as well.
Rogers. That's another $100 million.
Yeah.
And that's crazy. All of these new players, young players, quality players, potential is all 100 million value. The market is crazy.
Villa, the Villa game, Asensio missed 2 penalties twice. You ever seen that before? A player missed 2 penalties in one game at the same. Like, I don't get it. Like, but I was like, why only Watkins, is not going up to take one of those penalties? You understand?
It's the only thing that makes sense that maybe his last couple penalty, he have been scoring them because sometimes that's happened, But if I see a player miss a first penalty, I'm taking it the second one from him. You get what I'm saying? But they're still able to get the job done though.
Yes, the Villa game, quick preview, coming up on the weekend. Villa is yet to lose at home, but if you look at it, as much as they haven't lost a game at home in the Champions League this season, if you look at their home farm, in the Champions League, they will sit 10 outside of the automatically qualifying spot to get in that round of 16. They scored 7, conceded 2 goals in the Champions League at home this season. 3-1 down. Is that last goal at Parc de France to go 3-1 was that dagger up the punch for Unai Emery to even manage to get something out of the game at Villa Park, or they can recreate what they have done, with Bayern Munich, or probably bringing a duplicate performance of what they did with Juventus at Villa Park. What do you think?
I think it's got too much to ask. I think PSG gonna go there, and it's just too much. I think that second goal, that third goal killed them off. Martinez would have to Martinez have to save him life to do everything to stop. I could just see Villa might score, but I just don't see how Aston Villa keep out PSG from scoring.
They have to score like 2 clear goals, and I just can't see PSG go to Villa Park and not score at least 1 goal.
Yeah.
And I don't see how PSG will concede 3+ goals when Marquinhos is coming back. Hey, that kid that they bought from Eintracht Frankfurt, I think William Pacho, that Ecuadorian, he is such a brilliant set. I don't know who scouted that player, but whoever scouted that player, from Eintracht Frankfurt in the Bundesliga, I watch him in the Copa America against the Red Bulls, and he's such a talent. I think he's one of the perfect replacement that they can ever get to partnership with Marquinhos. So William Pacho, the South American big player. I think he's right up there, alongside Bishek, Bastoni, Saliba, Gavidol, those young players that's coming through. You understand? But where I'm at, I'm going, to the Northeast, man. What a day with the Magpies. Daniel, 4-1 on the day. United lost, costly by some mistake by, the Moroccan, the Portuguese, Dalot and Mazuari. Garnacho got back United and the level sheet with a wonderful, curler with his left foot. But that game didn't seem like it was so close. Even it was 1-1 at the point, but in between of where Tonali scored and I think it was Harvey Barnes, it was just 13 minutes from in the first half and in the second half. I don't know. United, Onana obviously was a big story on the weekend with that starting lineup. The Turkish goalkeeper came in. Onana rest at home. The Turkish goalkeeper made a mistake. Where Ruben Amorim go from here? Both goalkeepers are making mistakes. Like I don't know how to say it, but just seeing goalkeepers asking to do such a fabulous job where just dink the ball in the midfield, ping ball 60 yards out, it's just ridiculous. Goalkeeper is the one that's starting the build up, but Manchester United, 4-1 at Newcastle, where they go from here again, coming up against Leon. Leon lead, I think Leon won and I think Leon won earlier to the 3-1,
Yeah.
Trey score, Lacazette score as well, and the number 9, can't pronounce that player name, the main player scored. How you see that game coming up. But tell me what happened though, first before we move on to the Leon game at St. James Park.
I think you already know what you're gonna get from Newcastle at home. I think that's one of the worst places to go. Otherwise than maybe Anfield, I think Newcastle is just one of those ground where you just know you just guarantee you're gonna lose.
Even on the touchline.
You have to play very hard to win at Newcastle. But seeing the starting lineup, he went with the young keeper, the defense, Lindelof and Euro. Mazari, the youngster, get his first start. Seeing Ericsson even starting, you get what I'm saying? But United was well in their own. Zerski, he started to play. Him and Bruno having a very good connection.
I think that's a big blow for United.
Big blow. If United want to go far in the Europa League, I think missing Zerski gonna be massive because Holland is just not it. Feel sorry for the kid too. Brought into a new league. So many, one of the biggest club in the world, so many pressure, don't have an experience striker to learn after, to show him the groom. You get what I'm saying? Just leave out there and just go figure it out. You get what I'm saying? Very difficult for the kid. But United, the season is over. This is probably going to be if United don't able to win the Europa League, this is going to be probably one of their worst season in the Premier League era. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? And United just going to have to tear down the whole club and rebuild, you get what I'm saying, and give Una Amorim in the players that he want to play for his system, because I want one thing I can give it to him, man. He's stubborn, because my God, I would have tried, if me was a coach, me that try something different. You're the man, stubborn. The man say you're this me a play, and this me a play.
He's a believer. But do you see, but I see United slightly budge that gauge a little bit in terms of their performance and players kind of understanding the theory about, I think they kind of understanding a little bit now, but
I think they understand a little bit. I just think the quality is not there.
Yeah, I think about the personals that he wanted on the pitch, and I think the main objects in that setup is the two players that want to play behind the number 9. They are very crucial, and he's
wing backs.
And then that's what I'm going to. And then the wing backs, when to go forward, when to come invert, and when to stay wide, and when one go, it's just different. When you look at Sporting play that game against City before he came over, it was just different. And those Sporting players, they're not higher, bigger profile players at United, but the regime that they got in Sporting with Amorim for the last 4 seasons there, it's just remarkable, and how he structured that team.
Is United players just not technical good? Because these are, if you go through the United play squad, there's a lot of international players.
Yes.
So why cannot they adjust to a system?
No, because if you look at David Moyes came and just Everton just like this at the same time, they just flick a switch, Beto, a man that was already getting game, just that look like he's a proper number 9. No. You understand? Arkoski seems like he's one of the best center in the league in defending. Brathwaite finding back himself. So, he's getting rhythm and tune out of every Everton player. But for some reason, and I think at United, it's just a different story in terms of the whole footballing, structure. Go back at what happening off the pitch. It's just different of what's happening at that club. So I don't think what is happening on the pitch is reflecting on the quality of the players, but of what is really going on off the pitch as well. So many stuff is happening behind the scene. But at Stamford Bridge, Ipswich 2-0 up again in back-to-back games. They did it, at Portman Road versus Wolves. They got crawled back, and they did it at Stamford Bridge. What happened, man? Jadon Sancho was a rescue for Chelsea in that game. But you actually almost clean shot, that 3 points at the end. But disappointed one at the bridge by Enzo Maresca.
I don't know, man. I think Chelsea board, them just love a mediocre coach. I don't know. Potter, Lampard, Pochettino, I know Enzo Maresca. Four coaches that we have signed since this new rage board.
You said that 4, right?
4.
Tell me the 4 coaches that coached Chelsea between when including Jose Mourinho first stint, until the Conte. So you have Avram Grant, Jose Mourinho, you have Gosling, you have Carlo Ancelotti, you have
Andre Villa Boas,
the Matteo and Phileas Andreas Boas.
You have
So you would say outside of Ancelotti and Jose Mourinho, how much of those coaches like Avram Grant, the Matteo, Villas Boas is more talented coach than and Conte is a part of it with Ancelotti, Jose, those 3 coaches.
Even sorry, you can add sorry not to.
How much those coach is a top notch? Those last 4 names that you call with Avram Grant, Villas Boas, the Gosling and those coach.
This nowhere near. It's a night and day, clear. You can see it. None of the coaches that we previously hired. Some could say Pochettino maybe, but let's be honest, Pochettino have not won nothing in his career. He basically get a free trophy at PSG when he went to PSG.
He lost the title with Monaco.
Exactly. He lost the title to basically a PSG super team. You get me? So and you will see that he's struggling at USA at this moment. But anyways, that's mediocre. But get into the game. I think Maresca, the first thing that I see why Maresca, what is he's doing, that tell me that this guy, he's just overthinking. He's trying to do so many different things that make no sense. Reece James and Maragosa up on the bench. 2 right back on the bench. You know who he decided to play on the bench? Play at right back? Trevor Chalobah, a centre back. He tried to play a centre at right back.
Right back.
You get what I'm saying? Madueke was having the best game. Pedro Neto wasn't having a much of a game. And he take off Madueke and put on Sancho. You get what I'm saying? Should have taken off Pedro Neto.
I think Pedro Neto was having the best game after the second half started.
Yeah, but Madueke is the one that set up the goal. So he was more like he was the one that most looked like was going to able to create something and score chances. You get what I'm saying? Palmer, I think the Palmer, people might not see this, but I've been watching it. I think the Palmer farm has been the fault on Maresca because the way he wants to play it. I realized that from last year to now, like for the first part of the season and to how we are playing now, is totally different. But I said this too, like I feel like Chelsea players was so used to Pochettino, they want to play this fast football, back and forth football. If you realize, if you go back to that, the first part of the season, or you see, even the ESPN, they was giving. I remember Kirk Burrell was saying that, if Chelsea continue up with this fast flowing football, boom, hit deep on the counter attack. If you realize the best game that we was having would be Wolves 6 something, or be Brighton 4 something. These was just fast football, fast. I think that was more like a Pochettino style. The team was still playing the Pochettino football. So you know what I realized now? The second half of the season, 3 centre back, the fullback them keep on inverted in the middle. Pass, slow. So you know what I did? That take away the flowiness of the team. The Palmer like to break.
Palmer think of the game.
Yes, you get what I'm saying? Jackson like to run behind. It's too slow. It's not gonna work. And Enzo Maresca, that's onto him. He come out and say it. Him say him don't know why the fans are boo for. Cause him tell the players them to keep the ball. Him say if Robert Sanchez is not gonna play the way he want to play, he will not play. Pass the ball, keep the ball, don't kick away the ball. That's on the coach, and this is why the team is playing like that. You get what I'm saying? So I think if we don't make Champions League, he have to go. He just have to go. You know, if we don't make Champions League. It's simple as that. If don't make Champions League, we have to go. You know.
I was going to say something about this, but it kind of, slipped out of my head. But it just, I think, coming back after a lengthy injury, but being mentioned for the last. This is just unusual for Ethan Pinnock, for not getting games. You understand, for Brentford, but you think that it's more of concern that give him a little break and a little sit out, because he's one of the most consistent player, and he have played some of the most minutes in that backline as a Brentford centre half. But what do you think? You see any concern in it that Brentford is moving away from the regular international player?
Remember, say Pinnock they kind of have a couple injury problem over the last couple seasons, so they think they're getting another centre back. Is it Aya? Is that his name? I think he been very good. I watched Brentford back-to-back Arsenal game, Chelsea game last week, and he looked really good, very decent centre back. I think it's more like I don't get that from Thomas Frank. I don't get that from Thomas Frank, who's our manager, we just push out players like so. Okay, me not use that. I don't think he's that type of coach. I think he's more like okay, Pinnock, you've been having a lot of injury problem. Make a Giaris, you get what I'm saying, but Pinnock do needs game time because Brentford don't really play too much. Otherwise, unless the Premier League, they're not really playing anything right now. You get what I'm saying?
What's going to happen, at the end of the season, because there's no more international break. But people, that's it with European football. So right now we're going strictly local, until the end of the show. It's the regular ball segment. We saw what happened on Friday, Daniel, Guadeloupe, Guatemala, and Panama. Steve McLaren doing press conference talking about Panama as favorites. I don't like it. Ball kick already in a Gold Cup, and this man calling Panama the favorites in the group already. We're going to get into that. But I want to get your reaction and initial thoughts on when you first saw the group that we're going to be in the Gold Cup again, Guadeloupe, Panama, and Guatemala. What's your personal instinct at first that you think? What do you think about first?
The first thing I think about Panama, that's gonna be the outstanding fixtures. Guadeloupe and Guatemala. I think we should be able to beat those teams regardless of the players we put out there. But I think Panama, I think we should. That game against Panama is gonna be the game where both teams trying to get first place to get a better draw in the next round. You get what I'm saying? But negative from the coach coming out saying that. That's a red flag from the coach coming out saying that before anything even started. I think that's negative too.
Hold that point a little bit, but I'm going to get there. But was talking on the JFF YouTube page, and so what you have to say around the Gold Cup.
The draw, was looking forward to the draw, and and one thing I've learned since taking the job in the Caribbean, there is no easy games, and we don't expect an easy game. So we are in the group we're in. It's Guadeloupe, French colony, players from France, Turkey, Germany, good players. First and second division, their leagues, so good players. And there'll be a surprise package. I know that. I've seen a little bit of them. Guatemala, obviously, we're playing them in the World Cup qualifiers, so we're in preparation for that. And we'll learn a lot more after the World Cup qualifier.
Guadeloupe have 10 players within League Deux. The second tier go back down to the 5th tier of French football, but majority of their players are in the 3rd tier and the 2nd tier of French football. This team was in Cuba, Guatemala, Canada last World Cup. They managed to beat Cuba. They managed to get a draw with I think it was against Canada. They managed to get a draw. This team know how to find a win in World Cup. They went to back-to-back World Cup. Yeah, this World Cup coming up, this is will be their fourth appearance. They won games in back-to-back World Cup as well. So playing this team second after we play the first match with Guatemala, I think, so that's like with Guatemala. It will be a very interesting one. I remember when Junior Fleming scored one, I think late in the 80 something minute in Orlando in 2019 World Cup, where we just barely managed to get over the line. But coach have said there will be some very difficult games. You have said regardless of Guadeloupe and Guatemala, Reggae Boys need to get 3 points. That's how we look at it. The players that we have, we shouldn't be dropping points with those teams. We beat Guatemala, in Cincinnati in the last round of the knockout round in 2023. But here what coach have said, about there's no easy games. Guadeloupe, they have players that's playing in some very tough league in French football. As I said, they have 10 players between League there, the second tier, go right down to the 50. I think they have like 2 players playing in the 5th tier, but they have players playing in the Serbian League, the Super League, Cyprus Super League, Luxembourg. They have a player, the captain play for Union, and they have a player that play in Turkish League. So they have players that are very professional players at a very high standard. So the heritage players, again, don't be surprised that more heritage players will be coming in again this summer to help to strengthen this team in the World Cup, as this island, Guadeloupe, they prioritize to get into the World Cup. They know World Cup qualifying is such a hard thing in this region for them. But what you think around what the coach have said and the heritage players that they can get?
I think it's gonna be challenging. I mean, let's be honest. We've been doing the same thing. We've been searching all over the world for Jamaican players. So it seemed like other teams figure out the formula now. Say, boy, better we'll go around and figure out who can play for this team. But it's gonna be a very, very tough group. You get me, especially hearing the quality and the teams that these players playing for. You get what I'm saying? So we cannot take. When we go into these games, as much as we're saying that we expect this team to win these games, we cannot go into these games lightly and taking these teams lightly. As we're gonna find out. You get what I'm saying? So I'm glad that I'm kind of very much glad that the coach is doing his homework and seeing where is these players is having their trade, so that he can see that these players are basically getting good football, playing at a very good level. Yeah. So when his players come into the camp, he can tell these players and say, hey, listen, these players are playing at a very good
level. Those players are scoutable, they're easy to scout because they're playing professional at high level, so the stats and everything is okay.
Yeah, so just because he named Guadeloupe and Guatemala, they just turn up and say, all right, we are Jamaica before we win this game. You get what I'm saying? So I'm glad that he's doing his homework, because I feel like we as a nation, we're so arrogant. You get what I'm saying? We feel like say, otherwise on USA, Mexico, or Canada, we feel like say we are the big dog. You get what I'm saying? So I feel like say, I'm good that the coach is doing his research, but I still expect Jamaica to at least come second, no matter what. You get what I'm saying? The quality we have.
Before we talk about Guatemala, Miguel Herrera, the coach for the Los Tigres, Costa Rica, have said this right after the draw, and he said something within the same sentence that coach have said, but he kind of spread, his words a little bit more. But listen to what, the Costa Rican manager has to say around the Reggae Boys and heritage players.
The generational change.
Before we go to the DR, Dominican Republic, he have said it. The region is getting stronger because of heritage players. What Suriname can go, good players in the Netherlands, the Guadeloupe, can get the players in France also, the Martinique and those players, the Reggae Boys, and other local Caribbean islands can go there and get players in Europe as well because of the migration of what happened in history. But do you see this region is getting more competitive because during the last sets of Nations League games, a lot of excitement happened within the Central American teams and the teams that look at on the island, especially the Caribbean teams. You understand? They have done such a really good job. We saw Guyana, beating Central American team. We see Honduras almost, lose a game on the road against the island team as well. You understand? So do you see this region is getting much more competitive because of the islands can get the heritage players in Europe, while the Central American players, they don't have that luxury of getting heritage players on their team.
Yeah, I think over the past couple of years, I think you can see that in the region, all the teams are starting to get bit competitive. What team we was playing against? What's the team that we were playing against? I think it was Guatemala. I think we went there. No, I think we was playing away against a team. I think
Anna McLaren?
Yeah, recently in the World Cup qualifiers, and I think Bobby Reedy scored a penalty. It was on an asphalt field, fake grass field.
I think it's Nicaragua.
Nicaragua. So just from the level of where Nicaragua is and seeing how they're able to keep the ball and play football like that.
Yeah.
And they got to go up more and more. You see the level of the quality. That's why we, as a nation, Jamaica, we have to start take things serious and more, because else we're gonna get left behind. You get what I'm saying? So I think that we have to start to able to watch our surrounding and start to develop our players as well. Because I think that if we don't take the level of, because I feel like, especially when we get the players from overseas, I feel like when they see that, it's not Europe, it's not South America. You get what I'm saying? So I feel like they come with a mentality thinking that this is very easy. You get what I'm saying? So I think that we have to start to match up. I even start bring ourselves a higher level. So when we start playing these teams come up to Jamaica, we're able to blow these teams away. You get what I'm saying? But I think the level of the competition around the region is getting much better. Want to see teams start doing much better in the World Cup, start to perform really good in the South American whenever the team again get involved in the South America. You see what Canada did when they last Copa America.
America did it in the Centenary in 2016 where they lost in the semi-final as well.
You saw that Panama even beat USA the other day in the Nations League semi-final. You get what I'm saying? So the level is getting there. It's not where what I think it should have been, but I think the level is getting there. More and more Jamaican players is playing overseas as well compared to
more foreign coaches that's not from the region is coming in as well.
Yeah, I think seeing in the Jamaica League, it's surprising Brazilian was in the Jamaica League. You get what I'm saying? That's never in a million years, like a couple years from when we was a kid.
So many different nationalities are in the JPL at this moment, so. I think we have the best league in the world. We think we took over from Trinidad now.
You have the best league in the region?
Best region, best league in the Caribbean, I must say, right now. You're right, JPL. But Dominica Republic, their debut season, they made that last year. They got that big one, that big fish in the pond, Juna Fairpo, against us in the national stadium. No, they got Mariana Diaz, the former Real Madrid player. DR is a baseball team. When you watch the MLB, most of the superstars are from Dominica, Panama, the Venezuela, but Dominica Republic, we saw what they're doing in the local region, in the club level, at the club level. Their teams, is going up there in the Caribbean Cup as well. But they just hosted, I think, an under 17 World Cup a World Cup tournament in their country. So Dominica Republic, they have getting the heritage players from, in Spain as well. This team, is getting up there, and this is a prime example of Dominica Republic, of what they're doing and the trajectory of where the region is going. You understand? But, the Guatemala, we're going to play Guatemala. Look, Daniel, we're going to play Guatemala, I think, the last game of the next window, the June window. I think we play BVI, and then we play Guatemala If I'm wrong, someone will correct me in the comment section. But we will play Guatemala back to back.
This fearless.
No, I'm talking about the World Cup qualifier that we're going to play the last two sets of game with Bolivia and Guatemala. So we're going to play, I think, Guatemala back to back, in the World Cup qualifier in the World Cup. It's going to be very tricky our first game in the World Cup because it's very difficult, Daniel, to play a team back to back on the international level. Not very rare to see something like this. And I mean, what's your thoughts around that? Knowing that we're going to play back to back. I think. Let me double check. But you can go
on. Playing teams back to back. I think it's a good test for the players. Get to play them. And then you're able to play them back in the World Cup. But I love to see our strongest squad to come in, so we can able to see the level of where we're at. You get what I'm saying? I think the last qualified game that we played was a very good camp. Seeing where the team is, especially with the mixture of the overseas and the JPA players. So never. I think that we starting to use more of the JPA players. I think that's a positive. Yeah. And I think that this coach willing to take risks. I think that's a very good thing.
I was asking for a bunch after. We're just asking for just a few.
No. Don't have to be a bunch. I just want the best players. I don't care where you play. I just want the best players that play for Jamaica. I don't care where you play. Once you're the best player in your position, you need to get called up. I don't care if you're playing Jamaica League or you're playing overseas. You're supposed to be in the squad, regardless. But nothing never too bad to play the same thing 2 times. You get what I'm saying? It's just that you just need to be at a very good level of consistency, and Open can basically give some players some chance. You get what I'm saying? And I like to see that kid from Arnett back in the team as well. Yeah, I think he deserved to be in that. I think he deserved to be in the Gold Cup squad too. You get what I'm saying? I think look fearless. He just look like he just want. That person just get the chance and just take it. I just saw him look. Yeah. Look ready.
Yeah. But we're going to move on. To Panama. Coach, I've said something that I don't like. Then after we talk about the Panama, we're going to take some comment in the comment section as well. But this is what Coach have said.
And of course, the favourites for the group, Panama, who I watched even before we played the USA. And I thought, wow, geez, these are a good team. And then they go and beat USA, I think, in the third place playoff in the Nations League. So, yeah, not easy in this competition, in this region.
Daniel, I don't get it. Why are you giving the rivals? Panama is like a close rival to us now, the Canal Boys, because look, they shared players on the team share Jamaican heritage as well. You understand? We've been playing them quite a few times in the last couple of years after COVID. So we've been playing the Panamanian team, and we played them on the low. We played them on, we beat them in knockout round football. We beat them in the Nations League knockout. So we beat them quite a few times and played them in the World Cup qualifier. But what is this thing of Steve McLaren giving kudos to this Panamanian team? Yes, we know this is the best team in going into the World Cup qualifier. It is the best team in this region. Take away the top 3 dogs. You understand? But why saying it that they are the favorites in the zone? Is it that he's being political, knowing that he's probably political, right? That he's taking the pressure off his players, or he's just giving them that favorite? Like, look, my players. The truth is we are not better than the Panamanian team. Yes, I understand that the Reggae Boy team is not better than this Panamanian team at this moment, in terms of performances and the pitch, but not pound for pound quality individual players. But as a team, as a coach, they are the best team amongst the players, amongst the team that want to be in the World Cup qualifier. But why give them as the favorite? Why come out and say that your first reaction to the World Cup?
The only thing that could make sense, you must see the defeat, the beat when they beat USA, and man must say, oh, they man beat USA. Them money better that way. Yeah, and that's the only thing I can think of. Because why would you come out and say that? You get what I'm saying? But Panama have been very Panama have been very good over the past couple of years. They went to the World Cup recently. You get what I'm saying? I think we just take off your Jamaica glass.
Yeah.
People take off your Jamaica glass. Panama is better than we. It might sound crazy. I think we have better players.
I don't think the Reggae Boys fans out there denying that, you know.
I think individually, I think we have better players individually. But as a team, I think Panama is a better team. Altogether, they play better football, and I think they have a better coach. And they have a better system. I like the way how they play. You get what I'm saying? So I think that as a coach, you should not come out and say that though.
Too early.
It's too early to say that.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's him I buy him way out and say, or if Panama do beat we or we miss out on something, him can say, oh, well, me did tell us Panama is the best team, and me did already tell me already. You get what I'm saying? So I don't know if him already has tried to save himself before a ball kick. You get what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? So that's the only thing that makes sense. Him already has tried to make excuse already. But if we be real, or if we talk football with realness, Panama is a better team. Jamaica does have better players individually. Like Liam Bailey, of what Liam Bailey do is better than them winger.
Yeah.
Player to player, better player. We have a better keeper. Andre Blake is better than Fidem keeper. Player to player, better keeper.
Yeah.
But we are in Jamaica. We have been trying to build a team together, and it's not working. You get what I'm saying? But I think the coach are trying to save himself already before the disappointment. Yeah.
Somebody said probably, Brentford cannot make Europe again, so no use of pushing Pinot, but Lee Young said, what has the Reggae Boys done to suggest that they are favored over the Panamanian? I don't know. Did I say that?
No, I think when it is said why the coach I said it already about the Gold Cup, and I think that person was answering saying that what does Jamaica have over the Panama to not say that, but what we are saying that you don't want your coach to come out and say that.
No, I don't want my coach to come out and say that. No, I don't want it. If Thomas Christian said the Panamanian coach are listening, I said, all right, that one thing, all right then. But when it comes to Jamaica, the best is... I
think the coach will take pressure off of himself. The pressure off of the team.
I think this is regardless of what you said, that you want the best players regardless of what they say. But this Leon said when it comes to Jamaica, the best is subjective.
What do you mean the best?
I don't know if it's always that criticism or that. I don't understand where
I think he probably was talking when I was saying that no matter where you're playing, I want the best players. When I say the best players, when I mean the best player, I mean more like the player that is performing at the moment in his club. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. At that moment, he's performing. He's performing at a level that's supposed to be in the national team.
If just the coach attack. Yeah. No, look, we not say the coach the right, We not say the coach the right, but while we are said it too. This is not like
I think that last comment, I think the coach is already preparing us to understand that we are not at the we have good players, but I think that we're not a good team. You get what I'm saying? So I think him already are trying to make excuses already. So when we lose anything happen, him can say, yo, me already telling already say, yo, Panama better than we.
Understand? It's what coach saying that is 100% right. They are the favorites on the bookie page, amongst the journalists, everybody out there. You understand? They are the favorite for this group C to finish on top. But all I'm just saying, it's just too early to say something like that. when the players are not even in camp, the man is not even in America yet. The Gold Cup they will kick off as yet. It's FME said this as the pre-press conference for the game coming up tomorrow. Then Mokoda say, all right then probably I use some mind game and I try to to get look of pressure off and players and go into that game. But I just think it's just too early to say something like that. But look, the coach here is something else, man. He's something. Panama has a brilliant manager. McLaren is a good coach, but a poor manager. He is all over the place. I think when you're talking about Thomas Christiansen, I think he's a good manager and he's a good coach. I think with a coach, he's tactically is excellent at his game. Manager, he's a good manager managing his squad, managing the circumstances of what his team is going to go through at that day, and just to set up his team in a smash and grab. You understand? He can get it right on the day. So I just think McLaren might as good as a manager to manage the players in terms of the players' morality and all of that. You understand? But talk about coach tactical side, he's not, because if you look at the school that he's coming from. Sir Alex Ferguson is not the best tactician. You understand? Jose Mourinho came to England and schooled him after part with the 4-3-3. You understand? While he was playing 4-2-2. So with him coming from that that school, I just think that tactically, that's why I said if he can get a perfect assistant coach to help him with the tactical side of the game of trying to set up his team. I just think maybe you think Al Grimson is a better tactical coach, to set up his, even though he's defensive.
I think Al Grimson over the last couple of years have been our most tactical coach that we have. I think we have another coach over the couple of years. I think Al Grimson have been the most tactical coach that we have, structuredly.
Yeah,
I'm saying I see it live.
Yeah,
the football was negative, but they can play negative, but they can be very tactical, structured. You get me? I watched Jamaica live in the last World Cup, and I see that the team was very structurally. You get what I'm saying? I think team could have done that easily. Yeah, the only problem was the going forward. You get what I'm saying? But I think it was very bad to watch, but it was. You have to give Afghanistan him flowers. You have to give him flowers, even though Mr. Negative man, but yeah, you have to give him flowers.
Panama, look, Martinez, Godoy, Carrasquillo, Coco, such a brilliant midfield. And I think they are one of the best midfield in terms of how they play together and work together. You understand? But let's see what's going to happen, man, coming in the World Cup. But Panama has been, even when they weren't as good as us, this coach wouldn't have known that though Steve, I'm just preparing us fans to accept. Look, only Jose Mourinho, management to the opposition. Steve Bakar said nothing wrong. He didn't say anything wrong, but I just think it's just too early for him to just go out and say that.
But I make excuse already, but I excuse the coach. I already have come out.
You guys say a lot, person and the coach. Whatever it's like Jamaica with chemistry. Panama is like Jamaica with chemistry. I don't understand, man. Why you type that? If the team is not playing like a team, it's the coach job to make them play as a team. I agree. I agree.
But I feel like I'm gonna say this too. One of you will say that these sets of core players have been playing for a while now together, right?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? They're playing. This is gonna be almost the third to fourth tournament together. You get what I'm saying? The Leon Bailey, the Demar Gray, Andre Blake, such etc. So
this will be the third Gold Cup, I think.
So
Nations League now.
So if
Daniel.
So if we're saying that if this is gonna be so much tournament these players play together, right? Why is there's not a chemistry? Why is there not a philosophy? Regardless regardless that a different coach come in, these sets of players been playing together. Why every time when them play a match, them look at them play with each other for the first time? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So is it that I don't know, because we see so many other teams, them have a sister core players, and then them know what to do. Them have a chemistry. So why won't Jamaica team play and them same set of money have been playing so many times together? But when them come Jamaica, it's like them never play together. I don't understand that.
You're right. I think that's right because this is their second World Cup because I think 2021 was the year when Tapa have the Jordan Fleming them and them played. But say from I think 2015 with Schaefer, Schaefer managed us in a World Cup, in a Copa America. Then we kick him out to the door. Tapa Whitmore came in. I think did Tapa Whitmore? I remember. I don't know who coached us in 2017, but I know 20. I think Tapa Whitmore was a coach. I think someone can correct me, but Tapa Whitmore is the only coach from the last 10 years till now. You understand? Have coached us back to back in World Cup. So that shows that like every World Cup we've been to the last 10 years is like a new coach at the helm. Is that you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So but Panama Daniel. In 2021, they failed to make it out of the group stage after the World Cup. But 2023, they went to the final with Mexico. When Mexico beat us, I think, is it that? Where Mexico beat us. You understand? Yeah. They whop up us, I think 3-0. When Bishop Bernard gave away one of the goal and Nana gave away one of the goal. You understand? And then 2023, they went to a final. And then a couple of years after, they went to, a final, which is the nation. But for a team that, miserably, fall out of the group stage in 2021, you have to respect them and where they end at this moment. You understand? I just think they want the record, they want the force. You understand? So we give Panama all the credit. They are the best team in Group C. They are the favorite in Group C. But we just don't want our coach. Let us fans come out and say, hey, they are the favorite. Not the coach supposed to come out and say they are the favorite. Let the bookie them come out and say, them are the favorite. But going to talk about something else, and Steve McLaren has said something, and busy hectic schedule is coming up as well. This is Steve McLaren.
It's going to be a busy summer. You talked about that. 3 camps. First the Unity Cup, then World Cup qualifiers, and then Gold Cup. So we're shuffling the players around a little bit because obviously Premier League plays Saudi Arabia and MLS won't be able to take part in the Unity Cup because they don't finish till late. They'll be a part of the World Cup qualifiers and the Gold Cup. So we're looking at a provisional squad of about 50 players at the present moment.
Daniel, we're looking at a provisional squad of around 50 players. But look, Unity Cup, it's going to kick off a few days after the Premier League end. Is it the best time to integrate the players that we want from the JPL into this Unity Cup squad to get them that get them more of an exposure team? Because at this moment, Ghana is not scheduled to play any friendly for the June window that's coming up. No friendly. So what I reach out, I have a connection with a player that played in Ghana at this moment, and he playing youth football, he playing in the senior team. And I asked him, will Ghana bring their local team to the Unity Cup? He said at this moment, it is the A team. So you're looking at, some of the best players around the world that's playing for the Ghanaian national team will be at this tournament. So where are we going to get the players? Because the Premier League players, their season will end a few days before the championship. League 1, League 2, whoever we have down there, go down in the National League or enter down the National League. You understand? Their season, the regular season will end, I think, coming up in a few weeks from now. I think the first weekend in May, their season will end. if those players go on to qualify in the playoff, then their season will end wherever it stops after the first weekend in May. So where are we going to get these players to compete in the Unity Cup? Because Nigeria at this moment expect to pick a little quality players that playing abroad and a little bit of their players that playing locally in Nigeria. So at this moment, we're expecting Nigeria and Ghana to pick a very strong squad. Trinidad will walk with a very strong team. So us is JPL I got done before all of that. So JPL players will always be available for that. But where are we going to get the players them to compete? Where is it that we're going to play some players that are the verge of getting their passport or what?
I think just play the JPA players. I don't think this tournament really putting any weight on us right now. I think the most important thing is perform, getting our best players for the World Cup and the World Cup qualifiers.
World Cup qualifier, then World Cup.
Unity. I might sound ungrateful, but I'm not really care about this cup. Just give the player give the highlights on the JPA players. Then. Put them on a platform so people can see that. Oh wow, these players in Jamaica. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because the players them that's gonna be playing in Europe, they're not gonna want to come and play after just a whole long season. That's just facts. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then the World Cup is gonna be right around the corner. Someone wouldn't even want them to come and play. You get what I'm saying? I don't care, but we don't get nothing from this cup. We don't get nothing. Maybe if we win, we get some money, but that's it. You get what I'm saying? The main priority is World Cup and the World Cup qualifiers. I could care less about this tournament, to be honest. Give the highlights on the Jamaica League. Give the players in the Jamaica League to play. And that's what it's supposed to be. I'm telling you, bro. I
know it's going to Leon Bailey and the Peanut they're not gonna be available for this Unity Cup, and then the World Cup qualifier that's going to play cup a week and a half from that day. It's the 27th and the 31st of May, and then the World Cup is the World Cup qualifiers is like the 10th, right there. This somewhere right around the 10th of June. So it's going to be a quick turnaround. You understand? Yes. And then remember Ghana and Nigeria, they have nothing else to play in the summer. After June, everybody gone holiday.
And Leon Bill need to keep him party.
You understand? What one?
I said Leon Bill like a ball. Too much football. Man, I say too much football. I need him to party. I need him to relax. I need him to chill in Jamaica. You see me? I said, the man I said too much football.
But yeah, that's it around the Unity Cup. But I just think it's going to be a good tournament. I think the English them gonna get the people who have heritage, Jamaican heritage, the Ghanaian heritage, the Nigerian heritage. I think maybe these three nations, Nigeria, Ghana, Jamaica, maybe you could say a little bit of India have the most heritage people that live in the UK. So I mean, it's going to be a sellout. Hopefully the GTEC will sell out. Hopefully,
And that's a very good point from that last comment. We can see already forget Carlo from the Unity Cup. You get what I'm saying? Because we will be. Because let's be honest, every time when I see the players that play in the JPL play, and we do call them up to come and play. We play against Trinidad. We play against small teams. You get what I'm saying? So it's very good to put them on this platform to be able to play against.
And then we can see what Warner Brown can come up with against the likes of either Nigeria or Ghana, whoever we play in the next game.
Yeah,
you understand? But I want to move on, to another topic. Move away a little bit, from. Should I move? Yeah, I want to move away from the boys. I want to talk about the girls a little bit. Recently, a couple of days ago, announcement made that the Reggae Girls will replace China, to play the U.S. Women's National Team coming up in their next window. That I think we will play the third or something, and then the China schedule will push back with the U.S. So I think we will be playing in Missouri. You understand? But I want to say this, Daniel. The that game though coming up on June the 3rd, and China will play US on the 31st of May. And that the game with us and the US women's national team will be on TNT, Universal, the Spanish part, and Peacock in Spanish as well, and the radio. But recently, after we played, Canada in that two-legged game to go to, I think, the Gold Cup, to go directly into the Gold Cup and directly into the Olympic that just happened, the Paris game in France. We play, after that, the girls, it was a lengthy break, because of different issues with the JFF, and it was almost a year since Khadija Bonishan represent the countries, come back, then he came at South Africa at Catchinal. But we recently played Brazil. We got 4-0. That's 8-0 in 2 games. 4-0, 4-0 in the 2 games. We lost 3-0. We beat South Africa 3-0 and 3-2 in Kingston. We beat Peru twice in Lima, 2-0 and 3-2. But the next tour that just ended the other day, we conceded 7 goals alone in the first half. We lost both games 4-0 and 3-0. So if you look at the big countries that we played, we haven't scored a goal as yet. Peru and South Africa are very minus to what the bigger world is out there doing, on the big stage of the women football. You understand? And I must say, we went through a coach, Hugh Menzies, brought us to the World Cup in France. Lionel Donaldson brought us to the World Cup, down there in Australia, New Zealand. And now we have Hubert Busby trying to get us into the World Cup in Brazil. Daniel, is it, the man them wreck the women program? Is it that, my first question though, is it that we are drowning this team after not playing together for almost a year, giving them too much big teams to play? Is it that we're drowning them in terms of just give them, a basket to carry water? I know we want to play the US team. I understand we want to play the best teams, but is it that it's too much now, or it is okay for the preparators to see the level of where they need to get themselves at?
I think it's okay for them to get to play better teams. I know the gap is very, very big, but I think nothing is wrong with that. I think the best play, you want to play the best teams. You want to learn, because when you go up against teams, we play football before, and we come up against good teams, and when they can't even touch the ball, that alone tells you, damn, you get what I'm saying? So it's always good. You don't want to just play teams where you can just beat up every minute. You're not really learning anything from yourself.
Should we give it more of a mixture though?
It should give up a little bit of a mixture, but you can't want to say, because we beg that for the men's team, and we get that for the woman team. You get what I'm saying? So you can't have it both ways. One have to give. You get what I'm saying? Yes. So I think that is a positive that we're even able to get these type of level of games. You get what I'm saying? But hopefully the girls can learn from this and up them level this, up them training session. You get what I'm saying? So that we never know, one day we might able to get to a better level of starting to compete by just able to play in these teams on a consistent base. You get what I'm saying? Because Jamaica woman team make it to the World Cup. That's never a million years you could think of that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So nothing is wrong playing good team. The good teams. Nothing is wrong with that. I think I know it's sad. I know it feels bad to go into these games and get your ass beat every time and thing, but nothing is wrong playing against the best teams. Because if you want to be the best, you have to beat the best and you have to play the best. You know what I'm saying?
But this is how more I may tackle now. Yeah? Hopefully we can get a red card. Maybe the JFF give a red card on this and send her off for the picture and send her off the stream. But how can you qualify for your first World Cup and then issues around payment, off the field, personal issues, who having beef? First coach left in 2020 or 19 left. You understand? The next coach that brought us to the World Cup, I think the first one was Hugh Menzies and then Lionel Donaldson. his contract didn't renew. How can you have a coach that brought us to the knockout round and lost against Colombia in the run of 16? Yeah, we draw against Brazil, we draw against France, I will beat Panama. Qualify for a knockout run for the first time. That coach contract didn't get renewed. You understand? They will go for somebody else. And then the process will start back over. But even after, the World Cup end, remember the girl went off to play Canada and the year said jersey and equipment still left back down over there. Then they are playing a World Cup. And that kind of put a, look dent to the preparation. Shipmate never come in early as possible for the, But what is this JFF is doing? Because we are the most successful women team in terms of getting into the World Cup outside of the Canada and the US in this region. No other team in this region have gone to back different from those teams. Mexico, I think, missing the last 2 World Cups because of us. You understand? So I think, looking at it, man, on an administration level, how can we have 2 coaches that brought us and these coaches are nowhere to be found in around the program, trying to get to 2027 in Brazil?
Incompetent, arrogant, ignorant, madman, crazy people around the system, football system in the country. Ego and pride. You get what I'm saying? Something happened behind the scene why they did not renew the first coach. I don't know why. Ego and pride. Maybe because he came out and he thought on them. You know, you get what I'm saying? Like, how can a team that is playing at a level of playing at a World Cup leave their equipment them? Does that make sense? That sounds like someone we used to play like under 15 football or Ace a chin. The man them left the thing back at the stadium. What can I eat that instead?
Much miles away. Far Australia, New Zealand.
You know what I say? You have them saying, not check everything before you go on that plane there. But I just ego and pride. You get what I'm saying? And until we get these people out of the federation that care about the woman team, even the men team, I just told the man them a little bit more stronger and firmer, and the men's team get a lot more support than the woman team. You get what I'm saying?
Regardless of if you're winning or you're losing.
Yes, winning or losing. The men's team gonna always get support regardless. We never been to World Cup till 1998 and Jamaica lose one match, you come back and the world like an end.
US won so many World Cup, but they just recently just started to get the same amount of money and the same amount of recognition as the men that can't win a World Cup.
Yes, so it's just biased towards men when it comes to football. It's matter, but until when we get these people out of the federation. And thing, it's never gonna change because I'm gonna always choose him ego over the prospect of the team going forward. You get what I'm saying?
That's crazy. And even the Mexican tour we played in Kansas and Houston, the coach himself missing without even a statement of why or what happened. We can understand people have personal issues. Please give us something that, this is what happened. You understand? The man named Jody and Burton out there for coach the team, and the team just look half full. You understand? Even though we were missing a couple pieces. You understand? But that's it, man. I have to say around the regulars now, Daniel going to the player lounge. We're going to discuss a few of the players, what happened, over the weekend as well. That's one, but
I use respect when I come there.
Yeah, I'm just you get a few comments what the current people have been saying. I think we have a decent but level. Oh, I think I read that already. If the team is not playing like a team, it's the coach job, them play as a team. I understand. Look, this Panama team, and I always say, I think I've said it on one of my previous videos that for the last 4 years, I'm looking at the Reggae Boy team. I'm trying to figure out where we at level, in this region going into this World Cup qualifier, because that's a big thing. I always look at Panama team to see if the reggae boys are close to them, because if we are close, not just beat Panama, you understand? Because we can beat Panama anytime. It's a given. We're sure that already. You understand? We have shown that already we can beat them, and any day. It's just a one-off game. We can beat them, but can we beat them in our tournament in terms of go the distance where they can travel in our tournament? I'm not sure. Can we compete on a very high level in playing with a high intensity, playing with a lot of physicality? I don't think we can do that as it. You understand? Do that consistent. We can play a one-off game. You understand? But we're going to talk about, a little quiz. Yeah, we're going into a little quiz. The last couple of segments we have around 10 to 15 minutes leave, and we want to go into a quiz. And let me see one more comment. Comments about flying enough, bro. I want remember last time I would want live. People them beat it. So when they read the comments, the core players don't need the Unity Cup. Yeah, I agree. The fringe players, I think the Unity Cup, as Daniel said, should be the fringe players, especially the JPL players, we can say who really call up from the Unity Cup. Good to see them playing on the grass as well. You understand? Big up Conrad Smith, big up usual long-time supporter of, the podcast, you understand? Back again, you understand? We look like we're not learning. Mr. Speed and JFF mash up the ladies then. The team we in trouble. Mexico like fourth our region now. Look, it's 4 teams coming out of the next World Cup cycle for the women, Daniel. And 4 teams going to the World Cup automatically, and then the next 2 will go to a playoff where we probably play some team, the eight best team in Europe, play an African team, an Asian team, or a team from down the Oceanic, or a South American team, and then the qualifier, the championship, the women's, it's a championship, the championship round robin thing. So if we go on to go to the semi-final and finish third, and the US go to the final in that tournament, the team that finished third will qualify for the 2028 Olympic game in LA as well. So a lot of football, for the women. And remember, Daniel, we failed to go to the World Cup. The Women's World Cup. Mexico went to the World Cup semi-final. They got beaten by Brazil by, they were up with 1 man down for, I think, 3/4 of the entire game. What Mexico did, I said it, when we beat Mexico in Mexico for not the amount of that World Cup, they hired the Spanish under-20 women coach that won the World Cup in Costa Rica, and he brought his entire staff with him. You understand? And you look at how Mexico been playing. Mexico been dominating us in the air. They're much physical player. They're much younger player. These players are being prepared for the last couple of years. They beat us in Panam games, I think 7-3, 5-0, I think, somewhere right there. They won the last 2 Panam games in this region. So this team is being structured for the last couple of years. So it's not a joke. And the 80 team will always get players from France. You understand? The 80 team is a very competitive team. And you just don't know what these 2 Central American teams will bring to the table. Panama and Costa Rica, they are very good. But Dominica team is coming as well. So it's going to be a rough game. You understand? You ready for the player launch? I think you're mute. You understand? But
mute?
Yeah, I just mute you. We going to it.
Leon Bailey scores. Goal.
Daniel, it's on to you.
Phone there.
You say you ready?
Oh, yeah. Kaheim Dixon missing versus Cambridge Bird after featuring the previous match in the day squad. What's going on with Kaheim Dixon, Bugsy?
what happened, with Kaheim, featured in the last couple of match day squad, Charlton Atletico was going through attacking crisis, injured players. One player, I think Lieber is out for the season, and I think Anike was a little bit uncertain for the last couple of weeks. He featured on the bench, I think, on the weekend against Cambridge, they won, 1-0. But I think what happened is he was just plugging gaps on that bench, as an attacking player. But in the last game that they played, I think at the Valley, he got I think over 30 minutes in the game, 34, 37 minutes in the game. Previous before that, he got like 50, I think 50 or yeah, I think like 50 minutes. So he got some minutes for the first team, and he's been missing for the academy team. Yeah, he missed a few key games in terms of the knockout rounds for the Premier League Cup. He missing some League Cup games for the academy level. So the coach really did want him in for those games to fill, the space on the bench. He made some promising play. You do what you have to do. Every time you see Kyle Dixon, is always that wow factor, that little excitement, that jig around it. You understand? So yeah, I think because of players, Anike came back in the squad, so he was replaced. But I didn't see anything around the Charlton Athletic website that he was injured, why he didn't feature in the matchday squad. But I guess the players came back and he found a way out. But let's see on Tuesday his academy team will go on to play the next game. I think they have 3 more games left back, and then let's see if he will feature. If not, then we will know that he is one the record in the first team coming up, by the end of the season, and then the next season coming up in August.
Kadim Dixon, how would you assess his first season at Charlton? I know that most of the time he have been playing in the youth team, and a couple here and there game in the first team. How would you assess, his first season in the League One, going forward, and what can he do much better to be able to be consistent getting called up for the first team?
I think he has scored double-digit goal, for the academy. It's a big step up. Just remember the last three years or so, he was just playing, D Cup for Kleinert College, half a season for Arnett Garden. You understand? Last year, January of 2024, until the end of the season, and then in the summer of last year, he got that big money move, to Charlton. But overall, I think it's a learning curve. When he just, signed up and the coach did that interview and talk about Kaheim Dixon, it's all about getting ready for, the league football. The league below championship, it's dog eat dog. It's very tough. The manager will always be fighting for his job. They made bad start to the campaign that would have leave, the manager to play more experienced player that can get the job for him. Don't know. Now they on a run. They still on the quest to try to see if they can get the automatical qualifying spot in League One. But Kyle Dixon, it's a big season and he made a lot of progress at the academy level. And he got moments and he have dull moments in the first team, but it's more of getting used to the level of playing English league, lower tier league, and also getting his physicality up and getting his match fitness up where he can compete. Down there it's 2014, it's 46 games in the league, plus they have the cup and the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup, so it's a lot of games. So to play every 4 days and ask his body to do that, it would be a travesty to see him do that and probably, got a bad injury, you understand? And it's all about development and getting in tune with the level of the league, of the competitive.
So we're gonna move on from Kadim Dixon. Hopefully he can start able to get into the first team next season. I saw he scored some wicked goal, but move on from Kadim. Move on to Liam Baby. Been injured for a while now. Have missed the Champions League game midweek, missed the weekend game as well. Against Southampton, but hopefully can be back for the next second leg on Tuesday. What's your update on Liam Bailey?
It's weird, Daniel, because he played all of he played at the Militant, versus St. Vincent. So I was like wondering how and where, Leon Bailey, picked up this injury, where and how, so it's just crazy. You understand? And Unai Emery, I've said this, I think, the build up for the Southampton game. Look, Leon Bailey is progressing and getting better. Maybe he could work with the group today, which was the last training session before the Southampton game. If he is not able to play tomorrow, then hopefully he will be available Tuesday. So it's just weird. Like, I think his last game he played, I think was on March. I don't think it's March 12th. Was his last game that he played for Aston Villa. It's just weird. I don't know. It just say on the website that it's a knock. On the website, it's a knock. So I'm like, a knock. He played for the last 4 games. You understand? He played for the last 4. So I'm just wondering, like, what is happening? And then you see, different papers around, Birmingham, different European papers. I think the German Express at one point linking him with back to Germany, I think it's the Birmingham Live paper as well, linking away from Villa Park. But with transfer out with Bailey at this time, I think it will be it would have been a very sad moment for him to leave the Premier League. But I just can't see him leave at the moment, especially just recently signed a new contract,
Yeah. Hopefully Bailey can get back having a very disrupted season, a lot of injuries and stuff. But we're gonna move on from Leon. Gregory have got injured against Portsmouth in February, all the way in February, but he's back after missing 8 games. What's your assess on him? How is he doing since he came back?
He just played a game. I remember he got injured versus Portsmouth, and he played like half of the game. The first couple of minutes, into the second half, he got injured. He pulled up, and I thought it would be just a couple of weeks, but it turned to be close to a month. But he came back over the weekend. He came on just to play a couple of minutes. But it's good to see that our best left back, is back on the grass. He's back again. He's back in the matchday squad. He can help his team to move away, from get into the top half of the table and move away from the drop. So Greg Lay is back. We know we have busy time coming up in the summer, so it's good to see him back this early more than getting him a little later. You understand, on the grass. No, he can assess his game. The coach, he's a vital piece to Oxford United. You understand? Don't forget it. He's a vital piece. He chipped in with a couple of goals already this season. So moving forward, expect him to get in the squad back. I think they have midweek games coming up and weekend games busy time for the championship teams.
I'm hopeful Greg Lay is finally able to start playing very much consistently at the club level. So, very much glad. But move on from Greg Lay, we're going to talk about Shanae Hayes back on the score sheet for Newcastle. But they weren't able to get the promotion to the Premier League for the Women's Premier League. Very disappointed that they didn't able to make the cut for the league. But she having a score 11 goal this season.
Yeah.
Very impressive season. Very. What do you make of it? Because since the I just started knowing about her. Like I never even know that we have a player that played for Newcastle.
Yeah. Shania is been playing below the Premier League, the WSL for some time. Yet to really get that big move in the WSL, the Premier League for the women's side. She's 25. She's at the right age. She scored double-digit goal of the campaign so far. It's one team that will get promoted to the Premier League. From the championship. So it's very tough to get to the WSL. But one thing though, in this era of football, is it doesn't matter if it's the men or the women. Clubs will need number 9. Clubs need goals. Number 9 is very. It's something that it's not a regular thing like what we used to see 20 years ago in football. You understand? Where we see 2 number 9 in one team scoring, It's not something that we see. It's very rare at this moment. So I think with her just a couple more games left back for the regular season to end. Just finish the season strong. She got missed out, and for the Mexico season. So glad to see she back fully fit. Got a goal for Newcastle.
Yeah.
One as well. But it's all about for her. The main thing, finish strong, get that move. I think this summer will be that big move for her to see if she can challenge herself and get into the WSL. And actually, I think she and Kayla McKenna and Bonisha is our 3 best strikers that we have. McKenna just left, the Spanish Premier, from I think one of those teams in the Metropolitan area in Madrid. No, she's in. So she's in Switzerland at this moment, but let's see. It's all about finish strong for her and get into the WSL, a big transfer. Yeah.
So baby about. But yes. So that's the end of the player launch. Keep taking it back over.
But yeah, I want to say this, with Ronald Cephas, Daniel, it's been a challenge for the team at this moment, the team got relegated last season in the second team at this moment, scored the other day, scored earlier today, I must say, the team is not winning. The team is like a point away from the job. It's 14 go down to the third tier of Turkish football. And Ronald Cephas
league.
And Ronald Cephas, his coach have come out and said a few stuff, he said, I'm happy, with Ronald Cephas and how he's fighting and helping the team to get, the W on the chart, but as long as, the desire continue, there will be a common, there will be a common Ankara Gucci. And for him to say, my heart burns whenever the word relegation is spoken around Ankara Gucci, I find it unbecoming. But he said that, look, Ronald Cephas, I'm happy with him, fighting and trying to turn around the club, but the club poor run a farm. You understand? It's good to see him talking about Cephas in this conference. And he's going to say, as long as his desire continue, he will be that Kamadin nominator going forward to get the team out of the rock. But if him go to the third division, Daniel, what is it? It's already chaos. Look, I went on Twitter when like 2 hours after the final whistle with his team, because there's always information on his team on Twitter, and there was like the fans were trying to break into they said there's a section in that stadium where the officials, the administration staff for his club team always stay, and the fans were trying to break in, and the owners and the president and everybody.
What's wrong? What is wrong with that league? What is wrong with Turkish league?
You remember when the president go on the field and punch the referee?
But Mr. Jose Mourinho boxman what there? Mr. Jose Mourinho box the opponent coach what there? What them blood a boy as a hot in the league there?
I don't know, man. I don't know, Daniel. I don't know. I really don't know, man.
You know see the incident what Jose do?
That's right. Remember when they were in the Turkish league, is the man that owned his club, once usually owned his club, punched the referee because of some bad call. I know he got locked up. You understand? But people, we are in the final segment of the show where we will be talking about Alejandro Dominguez, Daniel, the president of CONMEBOL, fully officially proposal to Infantino that he need a 62 teams in the 2030 World Cup. What do you think about that?
That is ludicrous. 62 team in our World Cup. That's ludicrous. Why them they killing the game? Man's mad. 62 teams?
Yeah.
No. 32 teams is perfectly fine for the World Cup.
Remember 2026 next year going to be 48.
I don't like where the game is going.
But will it better for the Reggae Boys?
Huh?
Will it better for the Reggae Boys?
Yeah, I guess we might get in, but man, overall for the football itself, it's not good. There were gonna be a lot of poor teams. There gonna be a lot of games that 6-5-0. I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
2030 World Cup will be in Portugal, Spain, Paraguay, Argentina, and Uruguay. I think Morocco, 5 countries. That's crazy. 5 countries will be, hosting the World Cup in 2030, and his proposal that he needs 62 teams, more money.
Yeah. I don't like it. I like it too. I like how the World Cup was of the 4 years, and then the 32 teams perfectly fine.
This football gone more robotic at this point.
Yeah, very much. Even with the coaches and the tactics and the thing, taking away the flair of the game, this pass tactics. The game is very much robotic. You get me? It's not what we used to grow up on. We used to watch it as a kid.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like football is just not the same,
Men's game at the Olympic set the teams set to get lower. The teams move from 16 teams to 12 teams, and this is the report of they're planning to decrease the teams. I think it's officially made already that
why
there will be
that's what I'm saying. That's crazy.
Go
ahead,
Daniel, in the Olympics, but the women's game still will be 16 teams, so they're taking away 4 teams. So that will be one less spot for CONCACAF. And this is the report on it.
And guys, one of the major topics today from the IOC was gender equity, and the first time in Olympic history and probably the most popular sport in the world, there will be more female teams competing than men's teams. The International Olympic Committee announced earlier today that the LA 28 Games will be showcasing some of the most popular sports in the world and showcasing gender equity at the Summer Games. For example, for the first time in Olympic history, one sport will have more women's teams than men. Soccer, or as it's known worldwide as football, there will be 16 women's teams competing for the gold. In 2028, there will be 12 men's teams. The reason, according to the IOC, women's sports, especially football, have become very popular and lucrative.
We've seen incredible growth in women's participation in team sport, in popularity and visibility of women's team sport, with women's football being an absolute leader in that regard. Women's football and men's football have both been hugely successful in the Olympic Games in terms of ticketing and broadcast audiences, media coverage around the world. And what better place to increase the number of women's teams than the USA itself?
What kind of madness, utter madness is that?
I know why they did it. I think that mainly because they always have problem to get players when it's Olympic times, especially the quality players. You get what I'm saying?
The French team, even if it was a minimal to what the quality of France can pick for under 23 to go to the Olympic, but it was a very high class team that Thierry Henry picked a couple years ago for the Paris.
French have most of 4 teams now. Come on, but we get what you say still. But I don't know. See, they might extend the World Cup and they might decrease the Olympic. I think Olympic should have increased teams at least to 20 teams, because I think the Olympic is it's something to win. It's something to achieve as a player. You get what I'm saying? Win an Olympic gold medal, that's something you can cherish for the rest of your life. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? So I don't know why they decrease. I think later, I don't know.
Reggae boys in a problem for qualify for your next Olympic. Not again, but we never got it, but we in a problem to try to qualify for Olympic, no, because the last Olympic are US and Dominican Republic. Dominican Republic went to the last Olympic, Daniel. Remember that?
Yeah.
You understand? So we in some problem, bro. So the reggae boys trying to qualify for Olympic in LA. And then what I've heard on that report as well, that volleyball tournament will not stage in LA. It will stage outside of LA because they didn't get the permission from the government. Hey, it's anything over there with this sports in this country. It's always political.
Yeah.
Hey, some gender thing, some gender bias.
No, no, sir, I didn't know bias.
Some gender bias thing I go on and say. Some big gender bias thing I go on and say. Oh, you can decrease the men's game. What do I try to look? Even if a 4 team in the men's game,
they would have never did that to NBA, to the basketball. They never did that. They never did to swimming. They, you know.
You know, we just bless up the people. Forward and turn from injury. Why Kaheim was left out. Yeah, Anike, I think Anike was a player. We in a lot of send back for done. Great. As well, yeah. I will do that. Chris with a sample. One E Dixon. Answer from Kaheim Dixon. The backy like him done. Kaheim Dixon is developing well. He is a good man. He has a manager who develop young players. Yeah, because he once was a coach at youth level at that Charlton, I think a few years ago. I think that's where he started out, coaching. At youth level. JPL is on the U20 he played. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, of course, JPL is better than where, but I mean, it's just the exposure of trying to get into the senior team. It's always that bias in terms of foreign academies and the local league back home in Jamaica. I understand. Learning needs to be stronger. I think, Crispin. I think look at Kaheim Dixon. Even at the last camp, if you look at his hand, his muscles are getting bigger. So I guess he's working in the gym. Kaheim Dixon is putting on a lot of a muscle. And he's getting a little bit muscular and he's getting a lot more stronger. So, hey, you understand? Why one year Dixon Kaheim is far from being a player with limit skill set like you are. Like your limit, alive. But it's a lot. We are close out now. Close out now. Just want
smash up the likes. We're streaming on both platform. Danny Football Show and Nika the Media House.
Money. Send for the Dread. He's playing in the same league as CFAS. Who the man matter? Daniel Johnson. Send for the Dread. Daniel.
Where the Dread there?
32nd tier. Him and Andre Gray are playing for the team. Remember Wesley was a player for Aston Villa? Yeah. The Brazilian ended up on the same team too.
They're
trying to make somebody over the Turkish team always. Bro, CFAS need to get out of that league, bro. CFAS need to get out of that league. And Daniel want him team to get relegated so they can say, trust me. No, for real, brother. CFAS need to get out of Turkish league. That's good. I'm just squeezing things since nice players getting better. This is really bad. Yeah, people, Daniel, that's it, with the podcast back again after the mental spell around over 2 months. Yeah? We will do this back again as we do this week. So hope to see you guys next week as well at 7:30 Eastern time. Right now it is 7:05 where Daniel is at down there in California. You didn't get burned out, brother.
No, I'm get used to it now.
People at the smoke. At the smoke, make could have the feed car. Daniel smoke out. I joke. They might live far away from the south of California. They might live north side to the border. Which you live north side? You live north in California. Which state is the border? Is it Colorado?
The border for what? Mexico?
No. The neighboring state for the north of California.
I would have said Nevada.
Nevada? So which part of Colorado is?
Colorado is like Nevada and then Colorado and then Colorado. Yeah. Nevada is where like Las Vegas.
People. Daniel is a madman. One time Daniel drive from Cali, come on New York. 60 minutes.
Yeah, do road.
In Nevada, Colorado, like 2 days ago, driving in the mountains.
Go to one. But the longest drive was Pennsylvania. Biggest state. Longest drive. Mm.
Yeah, you know when they tell me we never need to drive from Cali come out New York, swear. That's a hell of a drive. That's bruh. The longest I ever drive, I went to drive as St. Louis in Missouri to watch Reggae Boys.
How long was that?
Almost 20 hours.
20 hours?
Almost 20 hours. Me a dead brother. Almost 20.
I hear somebody drive, right?
That
was me alone.
Yeah. Just the other day, just drive, go down in Jacksonville, just like 3 hours away. And bruh, the long distance driving, brother, it take a lot of focus. No, you don't remember what me and Jay come back from Jacksonville one time. It was night. What saved me one day? The thing we turn off and it start make nice.
Yeah. The assistant thing.
Brother, at that the car run pan. And it was weird.
Hey, run off on the road.
He said, brother, it's not easy. Never again will drive the lane. Never.
Yeah, people were there. Don't forget, smash a like and subscribe.
Yes. People, we're going to do this again next week.